Hi, my name is Priya Ray. I'm the founder of the grassroots group DIYabled. I'm so excited to bring you this new series I started called DIYabled Talk. The first two installations of this series will be two people I talked to about voting. The first one will be Colleen Flanagan. She is a disability activist for a lifetime. She's a little person and uses a wheelchair, and she has been part of an exciting project called Brink. Brink is an app that allows disabled people to find out where they can vote. Not only does it help you register and find out what voting pool booths are accessible, but it also allows you to complain when your vote has been obstructed. It's really important step for the disabled community to have an app like this, and I'd like you to listen to Colleen and the talk we had about disability rights and voting. If you like these videos, please consider supporting DIYabled by going to the website DIYabled.com. There you can find a PayPal link where you can donate once, or you can be a monthly member on my Patreon account. Anything you do helps me make these videos, and I completely appreciate your support.
I have been a proponent of disability pride my whole life. Being born disabled, I'm a little person. I use a wheelchair, and yeah.
I guess let's start a little bit talking about voting for disabled people. Like, how are we left out, like, as disabled people?
Well, just like anything else, we're not really considered, and we're there. We've been voting. We've been fighting for voting rights for a long, long time. I think one of the things that people forget is people with disabilities, disabled people, have been a big part of making America what it was until Trump came along 4 years ago and destroyed a lot of the work that people have been doing. But that includes like activism, protests, direct action, legislative action, running for office. It doesn't mean we get very far because of the discrimination we experience as disabled people. But yeah, no, we're there. But voter suppression directed at disabled people, that's also there in force. It's really strong.
Yeah, and when you hear about when most people hear about voter suppression, they're thinking about the Black community or the, Black and Latin communities and poor communities where they're not, where the voting booth lines are long, they go and they're like, your name's not here and stuff like that. But I feel like voter suppression towards disability is almost a little different. I've read pieces where people say the accessible voting booths are actually left unplugged and things like this. So
that a lot.
yeah, and so I feel voter suppression is almost for just the disability community. It's, I don't know, I feel like it's ableist in the sense that people just aren't thinking about it. And I just wrote this piece, and I included this woman, Kathy Howell, that's from Nebraska, who had, brain injury. And I read a story where she went to vote and she couldn't get in because she used a wheelchair. And then a poll worker decided she wasn't smart enough to vote. So I was just like, what? And so I kind of was like, how is this? I think that's just like, I just would go, how is a poll worker qualified to decide if someone's smart enough to vote? Which they're not, obviously.
Right. Yeah. But it is the ableism. It's that system of thinking that you have to be like smart enough to vote. That's not a thing. Like smart is not a thing that we measure anything by, especially the right to vote. There are, some serious voter suppression tactics that are even include legislation around some people, like under conservatorships or other legal guardianships that block them from voting, or if they've been to prison, which is very common amongst the disability community. And, they still owe fines. We know that there's a lot of things. And I think we don't typically think that it's targeted towards people with disabilities, because we don't really think of people with disabilities other than maybe like that person like you see on a telethon or something, or on like a Shriners Hospital commercial, which is disgusting. It's the charitable model that we see disability in. And that's unfair, because 1 in every 4 people experience disability, have a disability, identify as being disabled, which is a huge part of our electorate. It's a huge part of our public. But yeah, no, I agree with you. People don't think of it as voter suppression targeting people with disabilities, because they often forget that most people in poverty, people who are Black, brown, of indigenous, are people with disabilities. It's because racism is like sewn into every fabric that exists in this country, including how we think about disability, which I hope we disrupt. And, you know, let's change that, because with this election, like, vote now, people. Right now.
I have voted already, just to let you know. I live in North Carolina. We had early voting. I wore my mask, and actually there's like a mall across the street from my apartment building. It's like an outlet mall that I think people in the town I live in, they always forget about that mall. So there was no line. There was like, the only people that were there were the poll workers. And my voting experience has always been very great in Asheville, where I live. People, there's always an accessible booth. It's always in working. And when I went to the outlet mall, they were like, it was obvious. They were like, oh, a person in a wheelchair, we have to, like, what? And they're like, oh, there's a table at the end. There's a table at the, like, they had provisions, but, they obviously hadn't had a disabled person there yet. So they're like, there's a table at the end. And they escorted me to the table, and then they put the little privacy cardboard thing in front of me. I was like, thank you. And they were just so nice to me. So I was just like thinking, I am so lucky I have this great voting experience. So
yeah, that's a good reason for them to be excited, though, if they had all the right equipment and everything ready.
Yeah, I think they were excited because they were like, she's in a wheelchair and she can vote and we can make it happen. So it was really nice. It was a very pleasant experience, actually. But I know it's not pleasant for everyone. And you and some people, I don't know the people you're working with, but you guys have created a tool, an app called Brink. And it's a tool for people with disabilities to vote. So would you mind explaining a little bit about it?
Yeah, of course.
How it helps disabled people.
Yeah. So the Brink election guide can be found Google Play, App Store. Is an election guide. And because oftentimes, like we were talking about earlier, ableism, the system of oppression against disabled people, is part of everything, including some polling places. This election guide is really good to make your plan to vote, because it can tell you things like where your polling location is and other important information, which, because we really need to advance closer to disability justice and undo all the wrongs that Trump did to disability rights, really important that people with disabilities and our families have the information they need to get out there and vote.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so you can get it on all the app-friendly stores. You can get it. I know I downloaded mine. I use an iPhone, so I downloaded it from the app store that I use. But yeah, I was checking it out, and I was just very excited. And I tell everyone about it. I'm like, get Brink. So I'm just like trying to get the word out there. Do you have any other thoughts about disability and voting, and
other than just how extremely important it is? And I mean, I think the other thing that we always have to remember is people with disabilities have the right to a private and independent vote. And sometimes not every polling location gets that right. And if that happens, you can go to the Brink Election Guide app to report if, you weren't able to vote privately or independently, like we have the right to do. But it's really is important to get out there and vote with disability pride, knowing there might be some barriers, but it's important that we as people with disabilities do it.
Yeah, overcome the barriers to make it happen. So there maybe won't be barriers one day if we do that. So
exactly, because these type of, you mentioned overcoming the barriers. These type of barriers, that they are overcomable because they're rules and regulations and different things. So if your polling location is not accessible to your wheelchair, or for any other reason, that's not allowed. So you have to just kind of fight to be able to vote, get on the Brink Election Guide and find any information on there to make sure that you can get your vote counted this election. We have to do it.
I was reading today about how the Supreme Court ruled against curbside voting in Alabama, and then the Secretary of State of Alabama, even in the counties that had that set up in prior elections, was telling them they couldn't do it. And this is like a huge violation of the ADA, essentially.
I would think so. It's definitely a huge attack on people with disabilities' right to vote, for sure. Definitely. I was heartbroken was it last night? Gosh, it feels like.
Yeah, I don't know if it happened last night, but I read about it this morning and I was like, oh my, why is this happening? That's so bizarre to me. But yeah, so here's another example of how, they are suppressing the vote of the disability community, but not allowing the curbside voting in the middle of a pandemic. Besides, putting everybody in danger, from going and voting, and they don't have the mask mandate there. So it's just literally people will be going and vote, will be forced to vote, stand in line, and give each other a virus in the process. So yeah, it just seems maddening that the Supreme Court wouldn't see that as a violation of the ADA and just human rights in general. I encourage anybody with a disability to, download Brink and see, and if your vote is violated, speak out. Speak out and let people know that you weren't able to vote because because you were disabled and you had an obstacle. Right. And the other thing is vote, because when we vote, that's the best form of protest. I always tell people, it's going out in the street and screaming is really great, but it's also not accessible, because I've tried to go be part of this protest and I'm like, look, there's a curb here, I have to turn around and get off the sidewalk and stuff like that. So, if you're disabled, you always know protests are not really accessible. So the way you can protest is by voting. So
it's the strongest way to protest. And again, obviously report if you're having trouble voting. And I know that voter suppression is really targeted to people with disabilities, especially who are Black, brown, women, trans, any type of intersectionality with disability. The voter suppression is real. But what's also real is our community. People with disabilities, like I keep saying, are a huge chunk. So if you take pictures of yourself to say that you're going voting, go vote. If it was hard to vote, share that story out there if you're watching this right now, because people will be more likely to vote if they see other people voting. And people with disabilities, that's the one thing that we can do, is inspire. Some people call it inspiration porn, but please use that if you can to get people to vote. Vote. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I actually did take a picture of me voting with my cute chihuahua in my lap, and I got a pen. I was like, I didn't get a voted sticker, but I got a I voted pen.
Oh my God, where do they give pens? I want a pen.
I don't know. They just, I think because they just didn't want, they just bought like a big box of ballpoint pens and just gave it to, and they're like, you can keep the pen. I was like, awesome, thank you. So it was just like a safety factor. They weren't giving stickers. So they're like, okay, we have pens. Here, have a pen.
I think that that's really cool, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I wish it said I voted on the pen, but you know, I guess they didn't have time. They didn't have time to get that together. So, but
Unique. Yeah.
but they did go out and buy ballpoint pens, and every voter got a pen. So, which I think is great. It's useful. You can use a pen. So yeah, no, I agree, Kathy. Thank you so much for like talking to me. I really appreciate that and helping create this app for disabled people. And I think it's really great. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And yeah, thanks for getting the word out.